Hi guys, hi everyone. Welcome back to Santai Talk. This is another episode. So today I will be hosting. I'm Kelvin. Usually it is hosted by Kenneth, but we wanted to have a change of pace to see how is it like. So I'm joined by Kenneth right here. Say hello.
Hello. Hey guys.
And we're joined by Jacelyn. Say hello, Jacelyn.
Everyone.
Hi. Okay. So in today's topic, which is previously our podcast have done topics like mental health. We talked about entrepreneurship. Things that are, perhaps leaning towards the more serious side. Okay. So let's tone it down a little bit, and let me present you today's topic. Okay. So today's topic is movies that has inspired you in either minor or major ways. So what do I mean by that is that could it in that movie, is it the story that inspired you? Is it something that a character has said or done that you felt so strongly to it that you can relate to it, and somehow it has left an impact on you that will somehow, dictate a certain course in your life. Okay?
So basically, movie of my life. A movie that shaped who you are today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To say that in a shorter context, yes. So I guess we can start with Kenneth first. So Kenneth, is there any movies that you think has impacted your life a lot?
Well, yeah, actually, there's a few movies that I can really. I mean, off the bat, I can say there are some really classic ones like Lord of the Rings, and
nice.
Also back then when Fast and Furious was still about cars. Yeah,
I know, right?
And so basically, I think you and I can we do share our love of cars, and in part of that is I think it's due to the Fast and Furious movies that we watched.
Most definitely.
Yeah, because that is my first foray into the car scene. Like I didn't even know something like this exists until I watched Fast and Furious. And I'm like, hey, like those cars are quite cool.
It's
and it was
super cool.
Yeah, and they were racing down the streets, and because we were kids, right? We don't know what was going on with the actual technicals of cars. But do you remember there's this one scene where Paul Walker is driving the green Eclipse, and he was pushing the Eclipse to the max, and suddenly there was this error says danger to manifold. Like, what does that even mean, right?
Yeah, it doesn't mean shit actually.
It doesn't mean anything. And then once the error goes on for a while, and then suddenly the bottom of the car fall out. Like,
and he shot the laptop.
Yeah, like, and everything about that scene doesn't make sense. But we as a kid, we didn't know about it, right? We don't know jack
better.
shit. Yeah, we just know that hey, it's a cool scene. Like if you push the car to beyond its limits, then the floor of the car will fall out.
And this is something that will actually happen in real life. That's because of
Yeah. So that was pretty funny, but yeah, that was when I start opening up to my interest of cars, and then I start looking into other media about cars, like animes, like Initial D, Wangan. So
oh man,
yeah. Those were the days, man. And
it was.
I think until now, it played a huge part in my life because I started collecting also Hot Wheels because of you. And so I don't think we'll be collecting any Hot Wheels or knowing so in depth about cars, or I mean going to all these car shows as well without watching the Fast and Furious movies.
Wow, now that you've mentioned that, I could really see the trail, like our common interest. It really spawned from that one moment in your life in which you watched the movie.
Yeah.
And that is so crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. And another movie, which is Lord of the Rings, that played a huge part of my life is I think Lord of the Rings really set the bar in terms of storytelling and visual effects for me, like for a fantasy film anyway, because when we were a kid, all we care about in movies are fighting scenes, war scenes. Like, we just want to see action, right? Like people killing each other with swords and shields. So I think no movie topped that off better than Lord of the Rings. Cause
is it?
yeah, the visual effects, and Lord of the Rings was I think was made early in the early 2000s. So visual effects wasn't like really that great during that
But
time.
it was great during that time.
Yeah, they were great,
Yeah.
and they were ahead of their time. Like the
Yeah.
way they
Definitely.
yeah, the way they actually like illustrate all those things.
Yep.
And I've never enjoyed a more prolonged, more visually impactful battle scenes in any other movies, and it really set the bar to me. So every time I watch another fantasy film, I'll be like, based on the visual effects and everything, then I mean, it literally set the standard for me to enjoy a fantasy war film. Like the most recent one is Game of Thrones, right? Like Game of Thrones came pretty close, but it still couldn't like reach to the level of Lord of the Rings, I feel. And
Yeah, in terms of the scale and storytelling.
yeah, and how the battle slowly paced, and like at first there was the overwhelming enemy, and then you have the overwhelming dread of defeat, and then you fight for your life. Then at the last moment, your friends comes and help you. Your allies charge into the enemy, and then more enemy shows up. Yeah, so yeah, like if I were to say the highlight for me for that movie is that scene whereby all the horse riding soldiers charge into the enemy.
Yeah.
At the battle, I think it was called the Battle of Minas Tirith. Yeah. So
Wow.
So yeah, I still remember that scene. That's why that's how impactful to me. So now every time I watch a fantasy film, I will use that as the bar. Like that is a pretty high bar.
That is the benchmark, right?
Yeah. So for me to enjoy any film of that sort, it will have to be around there. Yeah. So it has definitely left that kind of impact to me.
Honestly, for like Lord of the Rings, right? It gave me nightmares for a few days. Especially the scene where they go like, "My precious."
Oh yeah, I never really liked that.
That
part.
was the visual effects was so good that it gave me nightmares. It's been a long time since like actual movies gave me nightmares to a point I can't sleep.
So I mean, now that you mention it, right? Because for me, Lord of the Rings is actually 3 storylines, I think. So I enjoyed the Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas storyline because that's the storyline with the most fighting scenes, war scenes. So I'm sure, like, bro, like when you were watching it for the first time, you also see, like, I think for most people also would divide it into 3 storylines. So that was the first one, and then the second one is Merry and Pippin, which is the other hobbits. And then they went into the forest and met and became friends with 3 people, and then they and the 3 people go and attack the enemy.
That sounds really interesting though. Like because I've never really catch a lot of.
Oh, you have never really watched?
Yeah.
Oh,
but you know, time and time again, right? I do hear people singing praises about it, and
you should watch. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's good reason to why it's one of the most legendary movies ever.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it really set the bar. And Jason, to what you just said, right? I hated Frodo and Sam's storyline the most.
oh, really? It seems like that is the most famous one, right?
Yes, that's because it to me it's pretty boring. And then there's always this psychological or this betrayal pretext going on in that storyline with the My Precious and
I guess in that show, in that whole storyline, you roughly know what will happen already. It's something quite predictive.
Yeah, like you know the golem is going to betray them, and then like eventually some shit's gonna happen. So it's like the entire journey is just to avoid fights and then to find the quickest way to the enemy territory
And
or
they
something
face
like
a
that.
lot of fights.
No, they don't see a lot of fights. They
They don't see a lot of
they got
fights?
captured
Oh.
plenty of times and then
Oh,
photo.
right.
Yeah, I think I shouldn't say too much about the movie. So yeah,
Okay, I'll check it out.
just for you to. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you. I
Oh,
want you to
that's good, huh?
enjoy the movie. But yeah, I hated
Okay,
Frodo and
okay.
Sam's storyline the most. But yeah, bro, if you want to watch that movie, you have to watch the extended version. And if you want to watch all 3 movies, it's 12
Let's do it
hours
together.
long.
Let's do it together.
Yeah,
Have a
we
pizza
should.
Party. Yeah.
We should do a movie party.
Yeah.
So
Let's do that.
Am I
let's do that.
invited?
yeah,
Of course.
of course you are.
Of course.
So so yeah, maybe we'll do that sometime soon. But yeah, the whole entire trilogy is 12 hours long, I think.
Wow, goodness.
Yeah.
That is epic in itself, the duration.
Mhm.
12 hours, that's half a day, mate.
Yeah.
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 And then I guess I'll end up my last movie is I wouldn't say it's one movie, it's a couple of movies. It's basically Hong Kong crime trilogy. I mean crime thrillers. What trilogy? Thrillers,
Oh,
crime
man.
thrillers,
What?
yeah.
I'm anticipating this.
Because I don't know, I just fell in love with Hong Kong crime thrillers. There's this movie called Election.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the one.
Election
I love it.
is one of the most impactful movie for me as well in terms of Hong Kong movies, because the depth of their storytelling is incredible. Like you don't see that kind of depth of storytelling in other Western movies. They have like an ensemble cast, so I think easily there's like 30 to 40 characters in that movie, and each of these characters have like their own role, and you can very clearly tell what kind of role they're playing in the movie. So for Jaslyn, I think maybe you haven't watched Election before. Basically,
I've not.
basically it's about this crime, this triad organization.
Yeah.
Is their boss term is ending, and how they select for the new boss is through an election.
Yep.
Yeah, so they have to elect their new leader, and then there's a few of these crime lords under this organization. They're trying to fight for the position and campaign with all the voters, and not the voters in general sense, but people who vote for the leader is actually like those elders.
Power.
Yeah, those elders, those old men who used to be in power in that crime organization. It's the old
Yeah.
men that are the elders that are the one who votes. So these crime lords, they are trying to like get onto the good side of these old elderly crime criminals to get their vote. So yeah, then you see a lot of scheming, a lot of fighting, a lot of
Like killing.
killing.
Lot
Yeah,
of backstabbing.
Backstabbing.
And that is exactly the kind of element you want to watch when you watch it Hong Kong Triad.
yes.
And I must say that Johnny Po is such a genius when he constructs the
Yeah.
entire storyline. But on top of this brilliant storyline, right?
Mhm.
What really brought it to life to me is that brilliant Hong Kong celebrities that really play their parts so well.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So yeah, so basically, Election, and actually there's a sequel, Election 2, actually set the bar also for me in terms of storytelling. So in any other movies out there that I watch, Western media included, I use that as a standard for storytelling. And any movies that is like, I mean, when it comes to Marvel movies, right? Like now this is very popular with the Avengers and all Iron Man and Captain America movies. For me, I can only enjoy them on face value. Like I can't really enjoy them because they're movies meant for kids, right? So plot wise, they're pretty simple. Like there's a bad guy, then the hero comes and saves the day, something like that.
Yeah.
Not as
So-
mature,
Yeah, so I mean, as a kid, after watching all this Hong Kong crime thrillers and criminal movies, it will literally raise the bar for you in terms of storytelling. And after watching those movies and you go back and watch Western media, like Western movies, if any of those movies the plot doesn't resembles any complexity in the movie, you'll feel like it's a pretty bland movie. Like you don't feel the the twist. Like it doesn't like leaves you at the edge of your seat. Like you sort of can predict what's gonna happen next, something like that, you know?
Yeah, you know what happens? I brought my dad for a movie. Right? One of those Marvel shows. My dad actually fell asleep in the cinema and started snoring away because he just didn't find it enjoyable.
Yeah. So because the plot is really simple for Marvel movies, and I don't blame them, because Marvel movies are actually meant for kids, like teenagers or I don't know.
They follow a storyline based on a comic, right?
Yeah.
If not
It
mistaken.
has to be digestible and easily entertained, you know? So, I guess that's why they have to do what they do.
Yeah. And I guess Hong Kong crime thrillers, right? One of the greatest impact for me is having to share it with Calvin and my other friends Jackson as well. Like I guess when we were younger, it was this love of Hong Kong crime thrillers that brought us closer together, and we have
that's true.
Yeah, we have a similar topic to talk about, and every time when we were young, when we were 12 to 13 years old, we would like go back home, watch one of these movies, and then the next day we catch up in school, and then we'll talk about it and like, hey, have you watched this movie? Like can you believe it? This guy did this, and then something happened and something like that. And yeah, then they did this, and we will talk about the movie for the whole day. Yeah.
And we'll even write our own maybe stories based on that,
Oh yeah,
That's what we would do,
Exactly.
So,
and
so I guess that is the impact that the movie has left us.
Exactly, and we end up writing our own crime thrillers as well. We love it so much that we even did our own version of it.
We were so cute, honestly.
Yeah.
We were so cute when we were young. We do all sorts of shit.
Exactly. So yeah, like I guess those were the things that leave a really deep impact in me. So
that's really great to hear. Because from my side, right, like Kenneth and I, we do have a lot of mature interests. So nice to grow that interest together. Because if you have something great that you enjoy but you couldn't share it with someone else, it kind of goes stale, So So thanks Kenneth for sharing your side of the movies. So I would say that based on your sharing, it's about mythological stories and triads and the love for racing cars. So I would say I'm quite similar to you, except for the mythological movies only lah. Yeah.
Mythological movies is definitely Jackson. Jackson's the one who brought me into it.
Yeah, definitely.
He's into mythological movies. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we could pull him in for another episode sometime.
Yeah, we can definitely bring in Jackson.
Sure. Okay, so let's move on to Jaislyn. So, Jaislyn, would you like to share what are some of the movies that has inspired you or left a very deep impact to you?
Okay, so there are actually a couple of movies that left a very big meaning into my life. And I guess it's very stereotypical as well. So like, I was basically those average kind of girl, somewhat well-to-do, has an older brother, has a family business, and blah blah blah. So everything I felt very much like Cinderella, always wanting a guy to come and like rescue me and be the damsel in distress and blah blah blah. So basically that was the go-to movie that actually started me off like Cinderella.
Okay.
Yeah. After a while, like Mulan came about, I think it was 1998 or something like that. Like the later 90s. Yeah. Right. So with the whole Mulan thing, right? Because Mulan is, like you all know, it's of a girl breaking all the stereotypes.
Yeah.
She fights all the wars. She goes and like basically like that was the show that brought me out of my shell and taught me that you can actually do whatever a guy can do.
you
just
can
have
just
to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, you can fight for your own destiny. You don't have to wait for the prince to come save you.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, like it was a total like changer in the way I saw life. It came to a point where, so like there's this part of the movie where they have like this song called Reflection.
Oh, that was
You know,
the
a
best
part
song. That was the best
Everybody loves Reflection.
Reflection
I can
is the
confidently-
best song.
I can confidently say, like 99% of the people that I know loves the song Reflection.
Yeah.
At least those who grew up with Disney, you know.
You know what? Now that you're talking about Mulan, right? Mulan really actually sets the standard for a lot of boys and women, because back then I think all the Disney princess movies, they were giving the stereotypical princess that needed saving and waiting for the prince to come and rescue them.
Yes.
Yeah, Cinderella, Snow White, and then came Mulan, right? And then you know how boys we love fighting movies. We love things that I don't know, like things that fight each other, war movies.
Yeah.
And then we saw Mulan. It's like, wow, she's like a female warrior. Like this is the first time they ever saw any female warriors. And then they'll be like, Jesus Christ, if I gonna have my girlfriend, it must be like Mulan, you know, when we were kids. Yeah, like Jason, continue.
Yeah, but basically, like with reflection going on, like you know, every time when I feel that I'm not being myself, I'm putting on a show for people, I'll just think of the song Reflection,
Yeah.
and like basically it allows me to reflect and you know brings me back to actually who I am and like my roots, so that I don't like go all out over my head and say, you know, I'm not this. I'm some rich ass kid and I deserve to be treated like one and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know? So apart from that, you know there's the other song where I'll make a man out of you.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Calvin memorized that entire song, lyrics by lyrics. He sings that to me all the time.
Sorry, who does that?
Calvin does that.
Calvin?
He
Yeah.
remembers the entire song.
That song is so empowering. Come on, if you
Yeah.
have a bad day, listen to that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but okay, so like you know how y'all say if you have a bad day, listen to that and sing it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So well, when I was a kid, I started singing that. My mom took it the whole entirely different way.
What? Wait, what? Then what does mom take it as?
Basically, a girl, I'll make a man out of you. Basically, you have sex
Oh
with
man.
a guy and like you know that.
Your mom is really taking it out of context, man. That's so far
It's
out of
complete-
context. Yeah.
That is so far out of context, man. But you know what? I mean, Jason, in your mom's point of view, right? It could ring true, you know, because you know how in popular culture, you know, especially I don't know in Japanese culture, they always say, "Oh, I'll make a man out of you since you're
Yeah.
still a boy," you know, that kind of a thing.
So I mean like that was the thing that I got scolded for like you know singing that song, because like it was part of the lyrics that I remembered as well. I'm not the type of person who can actually remember the whole entire song.
I see.
So
But come on, it's a Disney movie. They won't promote it about literally making a man out of you. You know?
that was when I was singing it in my teenage years still.
But Cal, probably you don't see that in Disney movies anymore today, because I mean nowadays with all these SJWs and all this non-binary thing going on,
Yeah,
like
that's right.
they will say like, oh, you make a man out of me, like then isn't that pretty sexist? I want to be who I want to be, you know, that kind of thing.
Right. I mean, even in Loki's new movie, he is gender fluid. You know, so I can see that Disney is heading towards that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I feel is a very big move, but it's a very interesting move. I think it's good for to blend to the culture, lah.
Yep.
You know, because if Disney were to move on with the typical ways, I think they'll face a lot of backlash. So businesses have to do what they have to do, lah.
Did you know Disney back then had a lot of subtle inappropriate messaging?
Yeah, definitely. Even Looney Tunes, you know.
Yeah.
Especially Looney Tunes.
Jason, take it
Yeah.
away.
So apart from that, I mean like you know how so basically I'm a very petite person and small size, very little muscle, very damsel in distress kind of look. So like it came to a point where I was in Aussie and like I couldn't open bottles and like so it came to I always needed to guide. Can you please help me open this? Can you please help me open that? And I think it's very common. Like Kenneth, you see that all the time when I'm out with you as well.
Yep.
Right. But like I mean, when I was overseas, like I stayed alone. I didn't have a guy. After post breakup, blah blah blah. So like I have to figure out how to do everything myself. So with that show, like with that song, I'll Make a Man Out of You, and Mulan being able to fight a war, I was like, hey, what's a bottle of jam got to do? So basically, I just googled how to open bottles of jam on my own, all these pressurized cans, so that I could actually still do whatever I wanted to do without having a man to actually open my bottles for me. I mean, this is just something small, but
Jacelyn.
Yeah.
Now that you're talking about opening jars, right?
Yeah.
I have one experience about opening jars that I'm really, really proud of.
Take it away, Ken.
Because there was this jar of prunes, right? They were pressurized jars. You can literally see the cap pop up a bit, like it bulged out a bit. Because it was so pressurized. And because it was so pressurized, it was so difficult to twist and open it. So my mom asked me to open it, and I struggled for almost the entire day just to open that thing. Yeah, it was that bad. So what I did was, I go Google how to open a jar that is stuck. So in Google it says that usually when a jar is stuck, it's because usually it's too much pressure inside there, so that's why you can't open it.
Yeah.
Or you just need to, it's just stuck lah, so you just need to apply some oil in there. So if it's
find a way.
Yeah, if it's pressurized, right, so all you need to do is just stick a fork
or
a knife up the cap, and then you push, you like try to wedge like a small gap for the air to come out
in between them.
yeah, and then when you when you wedge it enough, you hear spoop, that means the air came out.
Oh, right.
Then after that, when you open it, it's a breeze. Yeah, you open it, then it's a breeze. You don't even need to use strength to open it after that. Yeah,
So
I didn't know. I didn't know,
So that was your glory moment.
Yeah, I'm like, I finally found it. Like, do you experience the same thing, Jacelyn?
Kenneth, that was my life hack to survive in Melbourne when I was studying there.
Yeah, it was so glorious when you opened it, right, Jacelyn? Do you feel glorious?
I feel so happy because I can finally eat my food.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so Jacelyn, aside from Mulan,
Yeah.
what other movies has left an impact on you as well?
Okay, this one is another one where I think a lot of people will also resonate with. In Crazy Rich Asian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the final quote was with Michael and Astrid. Where Michael goes, "It's not just my fault that things didn't work out." Then Astrid goes, "You're right, I shouldn't have kept things from you. Hidden my shoes, turned down jobs, charity work, worrying that it might make you feel less than a man."
Yeah.
But let's be clear, the problem with our marriage isn't my family's money. It's that you're a coward, you gave up on us, but I've just realized it's not my job to make you feel like a man. I can't make you something you're not. And that line brought me to tears. I was in the cinema with Kenneth watching this show and I cried.
Oh yeah. I totally see that emotion.
Okay, Jason, I gotta ask though, why is it that line resonated so deep within you?
Okay, so basically, like I mean, I'm not rich, but I'm somewhat affluent enough. And like a lot of guys tend to run away just because they figure out my family background.
Okay.
They literally run for the hills and say, you know what, I cannot deal with you because of the pressure I'm feeling from your parents. And they have not even met my parents. They just feel that way that, I'm not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Insecurity issues.
So, I mean, regardless of how many guys I like or whatever, like, this has always been a major problem. And it just resonated so deeply because I realized, you know what? These guys are just losers that can't deal with it.
Yep. You are very right, because the only reason why I see it's a problem for guys that you're dating, it's because they are insecure about themselves, and because of their own insecurity, and then they're going to do other things that make you feel. They're gonna like try to make you try to suppress things on your side, so it makes them feel much better, or something like that. So I think that's total bullshit, right? So
It's literal and utter bullshit because okay, firstly, I've never asked the guy to buy me things.
Yep.
And normally when I go out with a guy, I would roughly know okay how much the guy can actually spend.
Yep.
And if he wants, so I'll normally choose more affordable places. At the end of the day, I'm still working. I'm still trying to earn my own money.
Yep.
So like, I don't mind going Dutch. But the thing is, like, a guy will always tell you, you know what, I can't live up to your expectation. But I have zero expectation for the guy in terms of financial capacity, because all I need them to do is to be able to afford to pay for themselves. That's my baseline.
Like you tell them, I don't even tell you what's my expectation. How do you know what's my expectation?
This sounds like what can I say? That it's an insecurity issue, because I think what's missing here is the communication. Because if communication is established from the very get-go, right, at least you have a direction to walk in, and at the back of your head, right, your foundation as a couple will be stronger. You know, because I think the guy was afraid maybe he had prior experiences that gave him a bad taste, but it's unfair for him to bring that experience to you, Jacelyn, because he perhaps he already had a phobia or something. So I think communication needs to be very strong between the two.
No, bro, I'm not sure if you know as well, because some guys, right? Because some guys they have superiority complex. They need to feel superior over their partners. So if let's say their partners are much well off than them, right? Then they'll feel that they're being attacked, you know, something like that.
They'll just run away.
Yeah.
In my scenario, they all just run away and be like, okay, you know what, I'm done.
So I think Jacelyn, they don't deserve you.
Yeah. So I mean, okay, I'm glad that you know I moved on.
Yeah.
But,
so Jacelyn, it's okay. It's fine, because if someone makes you feel bad about the things that you are, you know, so you know that they're not the one they're thinking.
Yeah, so I mean, in that line, it actually resonates a lot with me. So, cause okay, I drive an Audi from the get go.
Yep.
I allow guys to walk me to my car, and I mean, when you see the car, you will actually expect a certain thing already. But you mean on your first date, if you see that, it's your choice whether to run away or not. But like they continue on. And then realize, you know what, I'm very scared. After going through like several dates, you know, I'm afraid of you now.
Oh, when he says that, then you can just say,
yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye.
That's the door.
If you want to leave, then leave. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
I'm you scared. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know, thanks for sharing. You know, because I feel that this is on a much more personal level. So honestly, that quote in which Jacelyn shared, right, it actually exploded. Like when Astrid said that quote, right, it became a meme, it became a quote, it became a motivational thing.
Yeah.
And it empowered women everywhere. So yeah, there's a few reasons I like Crazy Rich Asian as well. It's because of how it really represented 100% by Asians. And of course the fact that Henry Golding is in it, you know, a breakout for him.
Yeah.
You know, even though he's not really in Malaysia, he's in Hollywood already, but I feel it's something to be proud of. And then of course we have Michelle Yeoh as well, you know, acting as the matriarch of the family, and she plays it so well. My God, I love Michelle Yeoh. And during that time, I really liked Constance Wu as well, because of Fresh Off the Boat. So when I heard Constance Wu is playing Rachel for CRA, I just went nuts. I love it.
Calvin was reading Rich Asian books even before the movie came. He was telling me about the book and how it resonates with us Asians. How all the stereotypes and how rich
slang,
Asian behave. The slang and the language. So I believe you read all three books, right, Cal?
I read all three books in a period of, I think, a month and a half.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you were really avid book reader back then.
I love it, and because I had very good access to books back then, because we could still go out and buy books, due to lockdown now. So yeah, I really love the series, and I really hope CRA will come up with a sequel.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, do you guys know that actually they're under backlash right now?
Oh, it's CRA, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, there's this thing about, you know how the part where the guards did not have any words or lines to say where they were.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
that was the backlash where they said,
Not inclusive enough.
not inclusive enough.
I see.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate all this backlash or not non-inclusiveness in movies. Like, can't we just let movies be movies?
Yeah, I have to agree with Kenneth.
Yeah,
Here,
I hate all
sometimes-
this inclusiveness. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, culture preserving, and inclusivity, of course, is important.
Mhm.
But I feel like in this scenario, could it be cherry picking? Because
Yep.
the topic is really strong right now and it's trending. So I'm not sure. So I'm just staying neutral for now.
No, for me, I hate it. I don't like these people, like racial inclusiveness and things like that, and changing traditionally maybe a white character to a black character or things like that. Like I'll say it, man. I hate this kind of movements because it creates it destroys the creativity in movies, and creators can't create their movies to their full potential because it's been changed. It's been changed by all this management that needs all this inclusiveness and all this PC looked after. So yeah, I don't like them at all.
But okay, in all honesty, even when you go out to a gated community, I think in Malaysia we have plenty of these gated communities.
Yep.
They don't really say much. Normally, the first thing you do is you wind down a window, you just tell them which house you're going to, and then they'll just call out the person and say, you know what? Yeah, if that's this person, then they'll let them in. And that was exactly what was represented in the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what is with the backlash, because this is actually like the exact scenario that happens in Asia.
Yeah. So
It's silly, isn't it?
For me, I would call that not being paid enough to ask. Because a lot of our guards are underpaid anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's move. Let's not move too far away from the topic.
Yeah.
What's any third movies, Jacelyn?
No,
Yeah.
that's all for me.
Okay. So alright. So for now, Kenneth has shared his side of the movie and Jason as well. So I guess it will be my turn.
Yep.
Yes, and
So okay, my type of movies that has really impacted me. Okay, top of my head, right? It has to be this movie called The Theory About Everything. It's a biopic. I'm not really sure if it's a biopic of Stephen Hawking.
Oh, Stephen
You know?
Hawkins. Yeah.
So that movie details his life journey lah. How he started, how did he become a professor, what did he study, what did he contribute to the world of science, and ultimately how did he contracted a very rare disease. I think it's called a neuron disease or something. Basically, it disrupts all his nervous system, so meaning that he cannot move or speak at all.
Yeah.
So what I really like about the movie is that Stephen Hawking started life as a pretty active young man. He would play sports. He's a studious person. He's just an all-rounded good chap,
Yep.
So he would grow up to be a professor. He would study science and physics and all that kind of thing. So at his prime, he developed this neuron disease, and over the years, his condition started to deteriorate way, way, way worse as the years come, to the point where he has to be wheelchair bound and he has to speak through a computer system. Actually, what that movie taught me was that there's only one word, which is purpose. So Stephen Hawking could have abandoned it all. He could just not do anything. He could just abandon his hope in life. And honestly, what can he do? He is wheelchair bound. He cannot move. He cannot even speak. He needs someone to feed him. that is how bad things are. I
Yeah.
mean, on a normal person, you may just wish to die, you know, assisted killings and whatnot. So, but despite all that, Stephen Hawking continued to contribute to the wall of science. You know, he used Einstein's relativity theory and expanded even further, and he developed the black hole theory, which is very sad because he did not live long enough to see the actual picture of a black hole. You know, and so to me, he has contributed so much, even though he has so much disabilities, because he has a very strong purpose. And because of that purpose, right, it has completely transcended any challenges and any obstacle that's thrown to him. He just wants to continue breaking through science, contributing to humanity, and that's exactly what he has done. And I feel that a lot of science, a lot of research are based on Stephen Hawking's work. So, for me, that is something that's really, really great as a human being. It's really, not just for myself, but for the greater good. So that's the first movie that I've really enjoyed. Props to the actor as well, because he played Stephen Hawking so well, even all his facial expressions and everything. So if you guys have not watched The Theory of Everything, I highly recommend it. It's very touching, it's very sad, it's tragic, but it teaches you a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay? So, number one, this movie is about purpose. Secondly, is a movie called The Big Short. So, The Big Short,
the financial movies.
Yeah, it's about investment. So The Big Short, Kenneth and I, we both watched it. I'm not sure about Jason. Have you watched it,
Nope.
Jason? The Big
Nope,
Short?
I'm Googling right now.
Okay, The Big Short is about this guy who is shorting. I think he's shorting against the estate business. Am I right, Kenneth?
Basically, they're shorting against the market. Basically, the mortgage market was a little bit overinflated. Not a little bit. Actually, it's really way inflated. Yeah, than it was actually worth. So this bunch of people decided to bet against the market. What I mean by betting against the market is betting on the market that it will fall, and then the more the market falls, the more money they make.
Profit.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
if it goes,
This is somewhat what's going on in the GME and AMC Wall Street bets, right?
something like that. But The Big Short was on a grander level. It's on the entire economic scale. So, Calvin, I think maybe you can explain further how the movie goes.
Yeah. So this guy is called Michael Burry. So he decides to short the entire housing market in the US. So during that time, a lot of people were telling him, "You are shorting against a market which is rock solid. Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
So Michael Burry, being the very eccentric guy that he's a bit weird. He's a bit quiet. He doesn't share a lot. You could even say he's very introverted, but he has a brilliant analytical mind.
Yep.
That no one can see except for him. That is why from that I learned that the skill of seeing the future and the foresight is very important. Even though 10 out of 10 people will tell you that what you're doing right now is wrong, they might be wrong. 10 people that told you that you were wrong, they might be wrong. So the whole herd mentality over there taught me that you don't always listen to what the other people will say. Try to listen to more of your inside voice. And I think that's what Michael Burry did. He was very confident. And I think the process of him shorting the entire the housing market was in the span of a few years. It wasn't just a year thing, I think.
I think it was from the time they started shorting the market until it collapsed. I think it was a little bit more than a year.
Yeah, I think it was close to 2 or 3 years. But that doesn't matter. So in the end, he was successful, in short. So him and a few other investors made a lot of money by shorting the housing market. So from there, I learned that actually piqued my interest in investing a lot, I would say. In fact, right now, I know that Jacelyn and Kenneth, you guys are in the investment. You guys are in the market now. You guys are buying stocks. You guys are selling stocks. So, I feel that for me right now at this age, we should really be touching on these things already. If you were to lead a more quality life, you know, you can't just trade your time for money in a job, 9 to 5. So I believe the path to wealth or a better quality life, you have to do investment. You know, so the movie The Big Short has really taught me that. But I don't think I'm as skilled as Michael Burry to show something that is, you know, you're basically fighting against everyone. You know.
Yeah.
So because it was so bad, it was so inflated that the US market crashed, and that's where Michael Burry earned all his money.
Yeah.
So he was right.
And the banks were declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah, left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess to summarize, Cal, your movies about Stephen Hawking is to teach people that not to give up no matter how difficult your situation is. There's always a way out. There's always a solution.
Yeah. For me, the movie, the theory about everything is about purpose. You know, you really have to find your purpose in life, because if you have to wake up day to day without a purpose, you know, then what are you really doing? Correct?
Yeah.
And purpose could be very personal, each one of us. Doesn't mean that my purpose is smaller in scale compared to other people's purposes. That doesn't mean that your purpose is invalid. You know, so you have to find something of value for yourself. And for the second movie, The Big Short, it's about learning how to see things ahead and not be a sheep. Yeah. So that's my top 2 movies that I'm sharing tonight.
To be able to see, to have foresight to see what's gonna be in the future, something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
I guess you know the film that we're talking about, the purpose, the theory of life,
everything. Yeah.
the theory of everything. I guess you know, I came to a point at one point of time where after I graduated from uni, I got my first job. I was like, so what's next for me? And I was really stuck on that. Till today, I still do not know what's my purpose in life. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, we won't find it in a day or two. Some people, you know, perhaps, you know, the sad truth is that some people may not even find it at all. Yeah, but the important thing is never lose hope, you know, because as long as you have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
I feel that will drive your life.
I think during our first episode, we did mention something about life is a journey.
About purpose.
Yeah, life is a journey, and you might never knew what is it at first, but the beautiful part of life is the journey to discover your purpose. I mean, if you know what's your purpose in the beginning already, then what's the fun of having to go through life, you know?
That's a very good point.
Yeah, like you have to, of course, go through the journey. The purpose maybe is the journey, you know, the journey that you go through, and then you discovering what you're really meant to do, you know, that kind of thing.
Wow, that's another way to look at it.
It's the journey.
Something to think about.
It's okay that you don't know, but go through the journey. Maybe the journey is what you have to go through.
Your purpose.
Yeah. So I think we did briefly mention this in our first podcast as well. I think
we did. We can actually do a round 2 if you guys are okay with that.
Sure. Okay.
What is your life purpose? Round 2.
Round 2, right? Yeah. Let's plan for something like that. Unfortunately, right now we're running a bit out of time.
Oh wait, there's one more movie that not one more movie. Actually, it's a couple of movies that I like to add, but I'll just categorize them. It's the sales-based movies.
Sales-based movies. Oh, like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, Boiler Room.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the.
I love Boiler Room.
Yeah. Why I like to say that is, although it did not really helped in the real life sense, because they really portray unrealistic expectation of sales, and they really over glorify these people. But yeah, it's the one thing I would like to what I would like to point out about these movies is it gave people the courage to do sales and to just go and fight for the money, you know, because I mean, I'm in sales right now, and being in sales is actually no place for the timid. If you're shy, if you are timid and you don't know how to approach people, sales is not the right job for you, because for you to be a successful salesperson, you have to be ferocious. You have to go fight. You have to
Be very thick-skinned.
yeah, be very thick-skinned and go overcome all sorts of challenges, because like you see Wolf of Wall Street or Boiler Room, right? They immediately give you the kind of ruthlessness, the kind of ferociousness, that the kind of competition among salespeople. They kind of really give you the kind of feeling, and if you can't handle the pressure, you're immediately like out of the competition, something like that. Like in Boiler Room, like immediately the first word, what was the Ben Affleck, was it? Immediately the first briefing that Ben Affleck gave was, if you guys don't hit your target or something like that, you guys are out of here. Who has an MBA? If you have an MBA, you get out of here or something like that.
Ben Affleck mentioned that he say if you don't learn how to close, then this isn't the job for you.
Yeah.
He mentioned twice that he's dead fucking serious about it.
Exactly. and yeah. this is for what? For closers only or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct,
so
correct.
yeah, which I think that for as a salesperson, you have to be that kind of ferocious. You cannot hold anything back, because not only you're competing against your company's competitors to fight for the same sale, you're also competing against your own colleagues for the sale, because sales is very performance based, and if whoever has poor performance will eventually get dropped out by the company.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess Wolf of Wall Street and Boiler Room, yes, although they portray very unrealistic expectation about people in sales. I mean, you don't just like go into sales and do sales for a couple of years and then you suddenly become multi-millionaire. You don't. It doesn't really happen that way. And no, there's no drugs and hookers as well.
Oh, maybe there is though.
Maybe there is, but
because in Wolf of Wall Street, mostly it's loosely based, but there were a lot of hookers in.
I mean, for normal people getting into sales, I doubt you will get into drugs and hookers like Jordan Belfort.
I wouldn't say that's always the case. I mean, not hookers maybe per se, but like you still end up in Thai clubs and Thai bars. And I've also accompanied my sales team into such places before.
I see. Maybe hookers, no drugs then. But yeah, like what I'm trying to say is that if you are in sales, go watch Wolf of Wall Street. Go watch Boiler Room. Maybe there's this movie called what, Glen Mary Street as well.
Okay.
Glen Mary Dale or something. I forgot what's this movie. It's also about sales and about leads.
It's about, I think it's Glenn Gary Ross.
Yeah, Glenn Gary something. So I forgot what's the movie. Yeah, go watch this movie. Watch this movie not to set your expectation on what you're gonna go through in sales, but try to get inspired by those movies. Try to get their kind of ferociousness, the kind of nothing holds back, and the kind of drive to close sales, So yeah, I think those movies are kind of impactful to watch if you're getting into sales. Yeah, and so yeah, sort of like expect what kind of competition you can see when you're going to the industry.
That's a good point. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Kenneth. So for today, that's all the time we have. So we will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.
All right, bye. Take care.